Come and take a seat while I bring the heat. I'm your host with the most. My name is Dizzy, and I'm definitely going to keep you busy. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm definitely going to keep you busy. I'm your host with the most. And yes, this is episode 121. And I'm having a 121 with a brother from another mother. This is somebody who I've known for 17 years. And I knew when I first met him, this guy was on fire. Yeah, he talked about doing firewalks and all kinds of stuff. He's also an ambassador for World Transformation. And he knows about contribution. Let's give it up for my good friend and brother, Mr. Allan Kleynhans. How are you doing, brother?
Hey, Dizzy, how you doing, my man? You good?
You know what? I'm loving it. I'm loving the fact that I'm doing things that I love doing. You know, I think that's really, really important in life. That if you're listening or watching to this right now, are you loving what you're doing? And if you're not, why not? Because we are loving this. I know, Allan, I know what you love. You love talking about transformation. You love talking about making things better. You've been a stand for personal development ever since I met you. And I'm glad I've shared this journey with you. And, you know, this organization, this platform that Harinder, Kalps and Sue have created and brought us on board, I think is a blessing to the whole planet, because right now, this is going out live to as many people that need the message. So we're talking about, every month we have a different subject. Last month was parenting. This month is about contribution. September is about contribution. If you did not see last week's episode with Kalpesh, oh my goodness. So, Allan, for those people that don't know who you are, give everybody a quick synopsis of who is Allan.
Well, I'm a South African who lives in London, and I've been. When you say who am I, that's a great question, you know, because what most people want to do, just like I'm inclined to do, is tell you my vocation, what I've been doing you know, in terms of, you know, as a living. But who I am is a free spirit, you know, having a dynamic human experience, and you know, I'm loving life, and you know, life has been a very interesting journey, and you know, I've been going around the sun now for 54 years. This will be my 55th year around the sun, and it's been a great life. You know, I've learned a lot of things on the way, and you know, as you said, you know, it was personal development that kind of brought us together. And you know, since we met, we've always got on well. We've got very similar values. We want to make a difference and serve, you know, and add value to the people around us. And you know, it's a great contribution. It's a great subject. Your contribution, you know, it's a very powerful subject. I didn't know anything about it when I was younger. You know, I was just trying to survive. I grew up in South Africa, and then I moved to England as a young man, and you know, I've lived in different parts around the world. But it was only when I was around sort of, you know, 26 years of age when I began to learn about contribution, and really began to learn about it properly when I was 29, around 29, 30 years of age. And at 32 years of age, I got involved in an organization here in the UK called the Yes Group, and that's when I was really introduced to the power of contribution and what people can do when they come together and they really want to serve their communities. And since then, I've been hooked, you know, and it's been, you know, it's just been a great journey. You know, I've met amazing people, and you know, I spend most of my time traveling around the world, you know, speaking on personal development and leadership and you know, communication, and really about self mastery. And I think that you know, as you know, whenever I think about contribution, I think of Tony Robbins. He always says it best. You know, he always says the secret to living is giving. You know, we don't truly know what it is to really be powerful until we really are able to serve the people around us in a very powerful way. You know, so it's been a great journey. You know, and I've met some amazing people on that journey, and you know, it's led me to fantastic experiences, and being able to serve a lot of people. And yeah, happy to be talking to you about this contribution today, and happy to be talking about this subject.
Yeah. So was there a moment that personal development came into your life? Was there like I know Kalpesh was going through a bad place and something clicked. Did you have a moment like that?
Yeah, and yeah, I did. And this whole idea about contribution is why it's so powerful is because the first part of our lives as human beings, we spend most of our time trying to look after ourselves and survive. Really, most of us in survival mode until we learn how to thrive. And I was in survival mode for most of my youth until I was introduced to personal development through a book, Think and Grow Rich, classic work that most of us have heard about and many of us have read. And if you haven't read this book yet, you've got to read it. Very powerful book. And when I was 21 years of age, I was introduced to that book, and that was a turning point in my life. I became a student of personal development, and which really means to develop your person, to discover what you're made of, to discover all the gifts inside of you and how you can bring them out in a much more powerful way. And so I got on that journey, and it's that was 1988. So we're talking about 33 years later now. Roughly.
You're showing your age now, bro.
Yeah. And 33 years later, and I'm still reading, still learning, still enjoying, discovering, the depth of my own potential and the depth of human potential. So yeah, personal development did change everything, because what ultimately I think what that does is it helps guide people from survival mode into sustainability, self-sustenance, and then once you can sustain yourself in a healthy way, in a powerful way, then you can learn to sustain the people around you. And I think that's what contribution really does. It gives you the ability to serve other people, and when you can do that from a place of thriving, when your own cup is overflowing, as to say, that old phrase, fill. You want to help other people from an overflowing cup, because then people can fill up from your saucer, which is much bigger than a cup.
Well, I think right now, with the current state of the world, there's a lot of people right now that are in trouble, but they don't know how. Some people are unconsciously brainwashed by, things that they see. And, right now, we both live in a space where our circumstances don't determine your mindset. It doesn't determine your results. Because look, right now, we're both living on Earth over the last 18 months, and lots and lots and lots of people are in a bad space mentally because of circumstances. However, we're witness, and we've got the same circumstances, but why is it why are we talking about thriving? So I think it's a really important conversation. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, yeah, but life is really shit, things aren't really that good. That's it if you look at it that way. But I know for me, every personal development seminar I've been to has been a tool. There's people that get hooked to the seminars, but I knew the first time I went to Tony Robbins, I said to myself, wow, I didn't realize you can get paid to talk. I didn't know that was a job. I was a hairdresser. And after seeing Tony Robbins, that was the moment that I thought, oh my goodness me, I could just tell stories like this guy on stage and do it. And that was my introduction to personal development.
Yes.
So Allan, if someone's watching right now, obviously they can read Think and Grow Rich. That's a given. But there's so much material available now. YouTube, so many videos. What would you say for somebody? Because I know you've got a plethora of knowledge of so much from all the work you've done. So where would someone begin right now if someone's watching this and they're saying, okay, I haven't got anything myself. How can I contribute to others?
Yeah, it's a great question. And, just listening to what you were saying, it made me think that, when you talk about the state of the world right now, I think when I look around, I think, where people lack the most is psychological and emotional strength. And that's where they lack. We see people that are in reaction mode all the time. People react to their circumstances. You mentioned circumstances, and circumstances, unfortunately, dictate for the vast majority of people how they feel day to day. And that's why people go through an emotional roller coaster all day long. And most human beings are spending most of their time in disempowering emotions, frustration, anger, despair, depression, lethargy, and those spending too much time in those kinds of emotional states leads to dis-ease of the mind, because your mind is at a sense of dis-ease, and that leads to disease in the body. So where people need to strengthen themselves first and foremost is emotional intelligence. Because when you can control how you feel, no matter what's going on around you, then you can begin to determine what goes on around you. And that's an important thing. And I'll say that again. When you can control how you feel, no matter what's going on around you, you can begin to determine what's going on around you. And you begin to take control of your environment. So that's where people lack a lot, I think, is their emotional strength and their psychological strength. And those two are linked. So the first place that people can start, and I think that's the most powerful thing about personal development, I think, because that's what it gave me first and foremost. It gave me the understanding of how I was showing up emotionally, because I was in a sense of reaction all the time, in a state of reaction all the time to my environment. And I was, as high as a kite one moment, and then, as low as possible the next moment, as low as you can get. And so I began to learn about the power of emotions, and the power of maintaining my emotional state, no matter what was going on around me, and developing this sense of certainty or the sense of peacefulness inside myself, no matter what was going wrong around me. And I think that's a very, very powerful thing to do, because we live in a world right now where, it's just this, it's one stimulus after the other. And most of those stimuluses, most of those stimuli are negative, really, and if we see what's happening on social media and the news, all of the stimuli that we see on those channels are just really to provoke a reaction. And that's what they get. They get reactions from people. And then when they act out of the reactions, usually those are negative reactions. Negative actions follow negative reactions. So the most important thing people can do is begin to understand where they live emotionally, and then how they can get to a state of emotion where they feel empowered on a regular basis. And it's easy to feel empowered when you practice it a lot. You start to develop that muscle. It's not easy in the beginning, because the evidence, when you look around you, your eyes tell you the evidence you see around you. If you're living in if you're struggling for money, if you've lost your job during the last 18 months, if you've lost your business, and a lot of people have had their businesses wiped out, entire economies have been wiped out, entire industries. So those people are really, up against it. But then at the same time, you really have to understand that actually you can still control how you feel inside. You can still control the perspective you have of what's going on around you. You can control what you say to yourself. You can control your emotions. And when you can do that, then you're being to create a different experience, because your vibration affects everything around you, and everything is vibration. So I think that's the most important thing, about personal development. It helps you to understand who you are emotionally. And it also helps you to understand then who you are psychologically. And then you can begin to get into the deeper aspect of yourself, which is the spiritual aspect. Then you can begin to really take control of what shows up in your life. Now you can start to attract different experiences, because vibration attracts. And so if you have a lower vibration, you attract lower experiences. If you have a higher vibration, you attract higher experiences. So that's, and then, then it comes back to, we're talking about contribution. Most people are trying to support the people around them from an empty cup. So they get to the end of their day, they're full of resentment, they despair. I was just talking to someone the other day, who's, trying to support everyone else around them, and just tired, very tired all the time. And just, at the end of their day, they're just in a state of despair, and just really hating life. And so that's a lot of people that they have that kind of experience. So first thing you want to do is contribute to your own well-being, and then you can begin to contribute to the people around you that you love.
Yeah. So you mentioned about, controlling how you feel. If someone's watching this, they say, look, I can't control how I feel. What would you say to them? How can, because obviously they have to become aware of their own circumstances first, admit it, and then how can someone control how they feel? Because it's not something everybody knows what to do.
Well, if somebody says, I can't control how I feel, I always say, well, you can. You just don't know how to do it yet, and you just haven't practiced it yet. So, but as soon as you say something like, I can't control how I feel, that's a truth for you. And if you say that once, you probably said that a lot to yourself. So it's really just understanding first and foremost, okay, what am I saying to myself on a regular basis? Where am I allowing my power? Where am I giving away my power? But, a simple switch in language can make a big difference. If you listen to yourself first, and I say to people all the time, what you want to do is pay attention to what you're saying to yourself on a regular basis. Pay attention to the conversation, the dialogue that you're having with yourself. Because, if you want to, you and I are very lucky, because when I say lucky, we've made our own luck, but we are blessed to some degree. but we have put the work in, but now we are fortunate enough to be able to contribute to a lot of people in a large scale. And, over the last 20 years, etc., I've been able to contribute to a lot of people with different teams that I've been involved with over the last 2 decades. But right now, you and I are in a very fortunate position. We're making a big difference to a lot of people. But we've worked hard for that. But the reason we've been able to do that is because at some stage in our life, we began to listen and pay attention to what we were saying to ourselves. I began to listen and pay attention to what I was saying between our ears to myself from the moment I woke up. And I realized that I was in a negative conversation all the time with myself. And then I began to ask myself, wow, that's not serving me. And then when I was reading and listening to, the speakers and the workshop facilitators and, the trainings I was going to, I began to hear the same thing, that they're all saying the same thing. They all followed the same. The theme was the same. Pay attention to what you say to yourself and say something different. Choose your thoughts. Choose what you're thinking. You can choose what you're thinking. Your thoughts are not your own most of the time, and they're not real, really. They're just pieces of energy that are passing, little packets of energy passing through your mind, and you can choose which ones you give attention to, and you can say something different. So if you catch yourself, for instance, I can't control how I feel. Hang on a second. Is that true? Imagine if. Well, would it be possible to control how I feel? Imagine if I could control how I feel. Actually, I can control how I feel if I allow myself to do that. And then just simply pausing and maybe taking a deep breath. Because in this moment right now, when I was talking to someone the other day and they were saying the same thing, I said, well, just pause, take a breath. And I said, right now, in this moment right now, nothing is missing. We're only in a state of distress when we're in the future that we have, that we fear, a future that we fear, or we're in the past where we're resenting the past, or we maybe are, feeling like we've missed out in the past. So anytime that's the only time we feel distress. But as soon as you pause and you come back to the moment, you say, okay, cool, what's missing right now in this moment? Nothing really. I'm breathing, I'm healthy, I'm alive. Right in that moment, you're taking control of how you feel, because now you're focusing on the present and you've now changed your language and you're actually talking present tense to yourself. And you can't lie to yourself in the present tense. You can't say, well, something's missing right now. What's missing right now? Well, not really anything. You only start to think something's missing when you project into a future or you look at the past,
So I remember Tony talking about this, about your language is important.
Yeah.
What about your physical state, how you physically carry yourself? Because that's also a choice, right? Does that contribute 100%. To how you feel?
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Physically, your physical presence and how you carry yourself physically and how you look after yourself physically, that all adds to your vibration, all adds to your level of energy. That's very, very important. Yeah, for sure. Just looking after yourself physically. Even the way you stand makes a big difference. Your posture. Yeah. I'm always telling my children, my son and my daughter, say, when you stand, you make sure you stand erect. Put your shoulders back, lift your chin. Because posture is very important. Because because it's biochemical connection with your mind. There's a bioelectrical circuit between your body and your mind. So if you stand a certain way, you feel a certain way, and if you feel a certain way, you're going to say a certain thing. They're all linked. But if you stand differently, you'll feel differently, and you're likely to say something different. So all of that plays an important part, And again, coming back to contribution, the subject at hand is that how can you make a difference to somebody else if you don't have the physical energy, if you don't have the strength or the energy, or you just don't have, you're tired all the time, So your energy's got to be up if you really want to make a difference, to yourself and the people around you. Your energy's got to be great. You've got to be looking after yourself physically, so then you are feeling better mentally and emotionally.
Yeah, and you've got to contribute to yourself, right? It's not just 100%. About contributing to others. Like you said, if your cup is full, you can fill other people.
Yeah.
You can't fill anyone from an empty
Absolutely.
cup.
I mean, if you think about it, the whole idea of contribution really begins with the self. If you're not looking after yourself, then how will you be able to look after anyone else? If you're not, you've got to put yourself first. And this whole idea of, being selfish, putting yourself first is not being selfish. Putting yourself first is being smart, because you're looking after yourself. You're making sure that your battery is charged. If you just cannot really serve other people at the highest level if your own battery is flat.
So what other exercises can we do, Allan? I know there's stuff like basket brigade. There's lots of things that you can do to help others. I know contribution as far as if you're walking down the street. I know for me, one of my things and one of my philosophies has been say what you see, because you have to be present, right? So right now, anyone who's watching, they can hear us, but that doesn't mean you're here.
Yeah.
Like you said, if you're thinking about the past or thinking about the future, you're not here.
Yeah.
So you won't hear what's going on.
Yeah.
So,
I'm glad you said that, Dizzy, because, you know, a lot of the time when people talk about contribution, or when they hear about contribution, they think, well, they immediately think about money, you know. But contribution comes down to energy, really, and time. You know, you could contribute your time, and even just walking down the road, you can contribute your spirit and your energy, and that's where you know, that's the power of compassion or kindness. You know, one of the challenges we faced over the last 18 months is there's been, especially now, you know, the world is very divisive right now, and if you've got to be very careful. That's why I don't spend a lot of time on social media lately, because if you're one of those people who's only if you're looking at social media all the time, it's quite easy to believe that the world is a terrible place right now.
Yeah.
But really, you know, that's one part of what's going on. You know, the world is a beautiful place. There's still a lot of love and kindness in the world. There's a lot of compassion, and you can contribute your energy just by smiling at people, or integrating, or, you know, interacting with people. And that doesn't happen. It hasn't been happening a lot lately. It's not as I'd say it's probably not as common as it used to be before we started wearing masks, because now, you know, a lot of the time you can't see someone's face, you know. And a smile is a powerful contribution to the people around you. You know, you smile at a stranger, it's infectious. You know, it causes a chain reaction. So, but you can contribute in different ways. There's so many different things you can do. You mentioned Basket Brigade. Basket Brigade, for those people who don't know what that is, it's something that we have been doing here in London. It was started by the London Yes Group, inspired by Tony Robbins. In America, the Robbins Foundation, Anthony Robbins Foundation in America, during at Thanksgiving time of the year, which is around October, they get together and they feed people all around America and the world now. You know, the Robbins Foundation feeds people right around the world, millions and millions of people. And London, we were inspired by this idea of their Basket Brigade at Thanksgiving. We don't have Thanksgiving here in England, so we decided to do Christmas on the 23rd of December, and we started that 21 years ago now. We've already done 21 years of that. I might even be 22nd year this year. And you know, every Christmas on the 23rd of December, we get together, you know, several hundred of us, and during the year we've been you know, the Yes Group raises funds, the Basket Brigade raises funds during the year through, you know, charitable exercises and events. And then what they do is they buy groceries, etc. And then we pack up these hampers, these Christmas hampers, and we go and deliver them to people who are less fortunate, who are living below the breadline, who wouldn't expect a Christmas hamper on the 23rd of December to rock up on their doorstep. That's exactly what we do. We do it anonymously, so they don't know where it's coming from. We include a little Christmas card. This is from a friend. Merry Christmas. If you ever get the chance to pass this, to pay this forward at some time in the future. That's basically what it says in the card. And, you know, we've fed, over the last 22 years, you know, I mean, every year it's you know, it's several thousand people, and one year we did in excess of 10,000 people, 12,000, I think the most we've done at one particular Christmas. But over the last 22 years, you know, it's a lot of people. Tens of thousands of people have had this beautiful gift. That's just one thing you can do, you know. And then, you know, that's inspired small groups of people. I know several companies that actually started doing that with their staff, just for their local area. You know, just looking for families that were struggling at Christmas time, you know, because it's usually a very tough time here in England. That's just one thing that people do. There's so many different things you can do, you know. Even if you just go out and you just sit with people who are homeless and just talk to them, you know, that's a contribution of your energy, of your spirit.
You reminded me of a story. When I was 19, I noticed things where I thought about something and it happened. And that led on to me discovering things.
Yes.
And one of the things that I thought about, and in actual fact, it was about smiling. Okay. So I thought to myself, if you went into a room where there was 50 people and everybody was smiling, and you didn't know why they were smiling, what would happen as soon as you go into the room? You can't help it.
You'd smile.
you'd smile. And I thought to
Most
myself,
people think what's happening here, but they would smile. Yeah.
you'd smile, right?
Because even if you don't want to smile, you automatically smile when you see someone. It's
Yeah.
like
So I came up with a theory, and I thought to myself, I'm only 19. I thought, imagine if you could have the belief that your bottom level is happy, as in you can't go lower than happy. That you can't go lower than that because you filled yourself with reasons why you have to be happy.
Yeah.
Then what's going to happen? You're always going to be smiling, right? And then what happens? You come home and people say, "Oh, why are you smiling so much?"
Yeah.
And then what happens? You share with them this theory of, look, because I was born, the chances of me being born were 400 trillion to 1, and I was born.
Yeah.
I feel grateful. And once you give people reasons why, listen, you got no reason to complain, right? And this was at 19. I came up with all these reasons, and I thought, you know what? We can actually make the world a better place just by smiling. Because if you're walking down the street and you're smiling, somebody else, they might not smile straight away, but most people will just smile back because smiles are infectious. And if you can have a bulletproof smile, wow, the world can be a better place. So right now, I mean, I make a habit of saying grand rising. So instead of saying good morning, I'll say grand rising, because somebody a few weeks ago said to me, Dizzy, do you know why do you say good morning? Do you know where it comes from? And when he told me it's to do with death, I thought, I don't want to say that now. I'd rather say grand rising, because in the morning, you want everyone to rise. And just that conversation changed this waiter's life yesterday. He was in the restaurant next door and I was in another restaurant. And by saying that to me, he's like, wow, that's amazing, because it's just a word, but it's a word you use first thing in the morning. And I don't know about yourself, but for me, my mornings are sacred. I want to fortify myself with as much good stuff first thing in the morning, my gratitude journal, because I'm grateful for life. And, that's when you do that for others. It's like a lot of people say to me, oh, you're always so happy, you, mate, aren't you? Hey? You're a bundle of joy. I said, yeah, I am. Because I'm aware of how great life is. People don't realize when you're living in the UK, you've got running water, electricity. There are places around the world, and if you've never lived anywhere else but England, you will know that, listen, we are lucky to have what you have in this country, man. You should be grateful that you wake up in such a privileged country where if you can't work, they'll give you money. If you can't pay your rent, they'll pay you rent for you. There's so much assistance in this country. People are dying to get here, literally. They'll get on the 400 will get on a lifeboat and take the risk to get to this country. So, I think it's really, really something that people need to wake up to, especially right now.
Absolutely, 100%. I firmly believe that you can, just by showing up in a space or an environment, you can make a difference to someone even without even opening your mouth, just by your energy, just by smiling, or just the energy that you bring to that space, So, contribution starts there, right? It's like making a difference, we all here to, the only reason we're here is to really just to love, really, and love and serve each other, really, and that's where we really get real joy from. And you don't need to be rich to do that. You don't need to have a lot of money to do that. You can do that quite simply by just taking care of yourself in a much better way. Happiness is our natural state. Peace is
the babies are happy, aren't they? They're happy babies. We're all born happy.
It's
but listen, I want to share some contributions. So there's a lady who created a song, right? And it's for world transformation. And I'm not sure about you, but Brew, every time I hear this song and I watch the video, it inspires me to dream bigger. So I just want to play this, and then we're gonna have a little break with the song where we get gassed up, and then we'll come back and do the finale. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, dream big. Dream bigger than you've ever dreamt before.
This is a message for everyone who is listening. Hearts and minds connecting, building a world community. This is the moment. The people are coming together. Spirit of transformation, reunite in the meaning of we. What is the biggest thing that you can dream of? What can you do to make it true? Well, Transformation Day, let's make a difference. You for me, and me for you. This is the moment, the signal, the klaxon, the ringing, the alarm to awaken, to ignite the passion within. Ready for changes. The spirit is stirred and shaken. Now we are primed to awaken. New chapters for us to begin. What is the biggest thing that you can dream of? What can you do to make it true? Well, Transformation Day, let's make a difference. You for me, and me for you. What is the biggest thing that you can dream of? What can you do to make it true? Well, Transformation Day, let's make a difference. You for me, and me for you. We can dream bigger. We open our eyes 'cause we forgot that we could see. We can dream better. We sing it aloud to be the best that we can be. Can be. Can be. What is the biggest thing that you can dream of? What can you do to make it true? Well, Transformation Day, let's make a difference. You for me, and me for you. Transformation. What is the biggest thing that you can dream of? What can you do to make it true? Well, Transformation Day, let's make a difference. You for me, and me for you.
Such a great tune, eh?
Oh man, I love it. You know, I love all the images on there. You know, it encompasses everything we've spoke about. Right now, everyone has an opportunity to stand up and make a difference. You know, I say this every night on the other stuff we do as my closing statement. Right now, if you are somebody that wants to make a difference in the world, now's the time to stand up.
Yeah.
If you want to make a difference in the world, now is the time. There's never been a need for people to stand up and make a difference. And it's just mentally, we need to make a mental difference. If you're watching this and you're in a space, I mean, look, I met up with some of my my school friends, people I've grown up with. And it was a sad state of affairs because of their mindset and where they were at. And like you said before, there is a clear divide of people that are awake, or whatever you call it, that understand that your circumstances, because there are people that they say they're awake, but they're unconscious. Yeah, you're completely unconscious. So many people that think they're telling the truth. Listen, you're full of shit. Yeah, right now, I'm sorry, but if you really want to take control, take control of your mind first. Yeah, and what you're putting out, because you can put out solutions or you can put out problems. Okay, it's fair. Right now, the world is in trouble. Okay, we don't need reminding how much in trouble it is. So all of you that are reminding us how crap it is, great. Why don't you remind us what we can do? Because I say to people, I get loads of people, so-called truthers, listen, you don't know the truth. The truth is everything's a lie. Okay, that's the truth. The truth is you can make up your own power right now. If you want, I mean, the stories of people that have changed their mindset in Africa, that we know, the difference that has already been made is phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's really, really important. I mean, just every time I watch that song, the World Transformation song, it gives me another reason to do something amazing.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're watching this, people, you have
time to be alive, actually. It's a great time to be alive right now.
Yeah, you have an opportunity right now to make a difference.
Yeah, it's a very important time to be alive. There's a lot at stake, but there's a great opportunity to create something amazing, you know, going forward.
It was funny. One of my friends said to me last night, at 1 a.m, I couldn't sleep. Okay, Friday nights have been sacred for me for many years as my Friday night, and because them Friday nights are different now. I'm not doing what I used to do on a Friday night. Every Friday is I'm on edge because it's Friday night. and last night, someone messaged me at 1:30 a.m. saying who's awake from one of the stag groups in.
Yeah.
And I obviously I said I'm awake, but this guy was drunk. Yeah, he was drunk out of his head. They were having a party, and he got on the call, and the first thing he said was, "Dizzy, you know what I've got to say to you?" I was like, "What?" He goes, "I love your videos, man. Don't stop what you're doing." And that's not somebody I expected to watch my videos.
Yeah.
I've got aunties that have been watching my videos for the last 3 or 4 months. And my cousin said, "Oh, you know what? My mum loves your videos." I was like, "What? Your mum watches my videos?" And it is crazy, but that's how I'm contributing. So, you know, I try and share as much as possible of my life. And it was funny, my mum, I'm lucky to have my mum still here. You know, I know people listening to this, you may have lost your mum many years ago. So, you know, you've got to appreciate people. Yeah, so you've got to appreciate them. And my mum was saying, "Look, I haven't spoken to you for 4 days. What have you been doing?" I said, "Mum, times have changed. Guess what? Because I'm on Facebook and social media 3 or 4 times a day, you don't have to ring me anymore. You know why? Just log in. I'll tell you what I've eaten. I'll tell you what I'm going to do today. I'll tell you who I'm going to meet, and I'm going to tell you what type of life I'm going to live every single day. I'm going to share that with the world." I said, "So you don't need to ring me. Just log on, or ask this auntie. Ring my auntie, yeah, and ask her, what's your son doing today?" I said, "Because I'm willing to put everything out. Yeah, I'm willing to share everything with everybody, because right now people need to learn and wake up, man. You know, this is like you said, it's a beautiful time to be alive." And I went to buy some flowers earlier from the shop, and I said to the lady, "It's amazing how so many people will walk the same path, see the same things, and see misery. And I'll see the same thing, and I'll see magic. And it's exactly at the same moment."
Yeah, just perception.
It's perception, you know. And that's the third cornerstone. I remember the first thing when he talked about feeling at the beginning. I remember Tony Robbins saying that the three cornerstones of how you feel is your language, your physiology, and your perception. How you perceive things will determine how you feel as well.
100%. Yeah, for sure. Just keep putting your beautiful energy out there, bro, because it makes a difference, man. It lifts people's spirits.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, I declared this today to the world that, listen, there is no person, there is no entity on earth or beyond earth that can stop me from what I want to do. It's done. Unmovable from where I am. Complete certainty. There is no shadow of a doubt. The difference we've already made and the difference we're going to make. So, bro, I'm so gassed up. And if people are wondering, what do you mean by gassed up, Dizzy? That means I'm pumped up. I'm so excited. Yeah. And look, we're getting closer to that time because I said to you, look, let's do 44 minutes and 44 seconds. And we're at 41 minutes, 22 seconds.
Yeah.
So the beautiful thing is, look, we created this specialness. I mean, sometimes you'll get the magic numbers, but if you want to create the magic numbers, you know what? I always put £44 and 44 pence in my car.
Okay.
You know why?
I'm very similar to you too, actually. I do the same thing, but sometimes I just hit that number by just perfectly. The other day I paid a bill. I paid a bill the other day. It was £88 and 88 pence. I thought, thank you.
Well, I went for dinner with somebody, right? And the bill came to 55.55.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, look, whatever you want to make it mean.
The universe is affirming your path, brother. Angels are affirming your path. The angels are saying you're on the right track, bro.
Perfect. Well, listen, bro, it's been a pleasure to share this platform. So it's been a pleasure to share this journey. And this is Sit Down Sundays 121. Yeah. If we like the numbers.
Yeah.
We're doing it. We started at 111. That's how the show started. The 111. When the beard came off, that was 111. So listen, if anyone's watching this and you've not seen any of the old ones, I said, there is some amazing, amazing information which can and will transform your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. If you haven't watched any of Dizzy's show, the previous ones, you must go and watch them. There's some amazing, amazing content. He's had some amazing guests. And
I've even had your ex-wife on, right? You've even had your ex-wife Maxine on.
That's correct. Yeah, for sure.
You know.
Well, she's amazing. She's an amazing teacher, amazing knowledge, amazing wealth of knowledge she's got. You know. Just a great coach, great speaker. I'm very blessed to have her as a mother of my children.
Wonderful. Right, we're coming to the 44th minute. So, Allan, it's been a pleasure.
Dizzy, thanks for having me, my man. And for anyone who's listening or watching, you know, if you're wondering how you can make a difference in the world, just start smiling more. You know, smile as soon as you wake up in the morning. Choose to put yourself in a great state. That just means choosing to be happy no matter what shows up around you. If you can practice that on an ongoing basis and make that a default, or just make that, you know, your modus operandi, you know, where you just choose to be happy no matter what. Yeah. What you'll see is you'll start to see that you will start to affect the world around you. Start to affect your circumstances. You'll start to create circumstances. Become a creator of circumstance, not a creature to circumstance.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thank you, Allan. Thank you, people. So look, I'm going to finish off with this because we've got another, say, 30 seconds to go. So I want to bang it on 44 seconds. So it's been a pleasure and a treasure. And if you have any comments, leave it in the YouTube channel. And if you have any questions, we can address them. So as we count it down to just 20 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, it's been epic. It always is epic, and it always will be. That's the way it was. That's the way it is. And that's the way it always will be. Ladies and gentlemen, if you know where that comes from, you know. Allan knows, I know. And if you need to know, get to know. If you don't, send us a message. All right?